Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Hello friends and welcome to our show. Today we discuss about marketing analytics, how you can learn it, how you can get the right data. And I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Piyanka Jain. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here, Nathan.
Yeah, big pleasure. Wanna learn more about that. I know that without the right data, it's hard to create marketing campaigns. It's hard to get results. Before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about marketing analytics.
Sure. I'm Piyanka. I run a data science company, Airing, based out of Silicon Valley, but most of our team is remote. So we can be anywhere. And my experience has been a couple of decades of data science. I started out from academia, I have two masters. Both of them involved applied statistics and mathematics. So I was in data science before there was a term called data science. We used to call it applied statistics, mathematics, predictive analytics, and now it's called data science. And I have been working with corporate organizations, in my past with companies like Adobe and PayPal. And last 11, 12 years, I've been running Airing and working with really a lot of startups in fintech, in e-commerce, in consumer tech, and also large organizations on the data literacy side, like Comcast and Google and others. So that's what is my experience, starting out from hands-on data scientist to spawning a company which specializes in doing data science, data engineering, and analytics for our startup clients.
Awesome experience. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's talk about, I'm interested about the balance between, you mentioned about data science, AI, and traditional marketing to get and collect data, because I know even CEOs of big companies, for example, Pepsi, they can go to customers to talk to them, to ask about their pain points, to find how the company can decide these pain points. But other companies can use data, rely on that to get some average insights. Can you tell how to find this balance between talking to your customers and using and collecting data by using AI tools?
Okay. So let's zoom out a bit. I'm going to start laying the lay of the land, right? So there is,
Okay.
In terms of data sources, because you talked about, talking to the customer is one source of data. That's one source of data, talking to your customer. How your customer behaves is another source of data. When you're capturing what they're really doing on your website or outside website. The fact that your customer owns 3 credit card, which is open with a revolving transaction, that's also information. So you can get data from various sources. Once you have data, or as you have data, which can be coming from external source, internal source, what they're doing on your website, what they're doing outside of your ecosystem, when you're collecting information of what they actually behave, what we call it behavioral data, or what they say, surveys, you float out massive surveys, have them fill it out, what they say, and also what they do. And even the surveys, when you talk to the customers, you can get that information from them via focus groups or massive surveys. All of that is fair points of you basically understand what your customer wants, what they're saying, what they need. Once you have the data, there are many, many methods for doing analytics. One of the most fundamental analytics methodology or method broadly is called business analytics, which is using simple techniques that any marketer can use, any marketer or anybody else can use in even, for example, Google Sheet or Excel to analyze. And there are 4 major techniques in that. That's called correlation analysis. You can use correlation analysis, aggregate analysis, trending analysis, and sizing and estimation. That bucket is called business analytics, and that solves 80% or maybe 90% of the business problems. So even in the world of marketing, if you just think about marketing as a whole, starting LCM, acquisition, whatever else as we call marketing analytics, 80 to 90% of the problem can be solved by very simple logic, math analytics. And the most complex it gets is correlation. How is the relationship between two things? What's the relationship between customer satisfaction and their revenue or their lifetime value? So these are the kind of correlations you look for. Well, for the 5 to 10% of the problem, which evolves beyond business analytics, that's when you use things like more complex advanced analytics. I'm going to call it broadly advanced analytics. Within advanced analytics, there are three buckets. A big bucket is what is called statistical processes. This is what we have been using for last 60 years, 70 years. One of the first models that was built in the fintech was a credit score model or credit worthiness. Should I lend money to this person or not? Would they return my money? That was built in, I would say, 1940s. That was using statistical process. What many of us know, regression, decision tree. It's like, there's basically understand. In simple terms, it's one model, or the thought process of building one model and you're figuring out the parameters. That's the whole body of statistical modeling. Last 10 years, because the technology has evolved so much, we don't need to depend on one model. What we do is we build hundreds of models. We have all of these models vote, and we also we are able to optimize how the models learn. So we have parameters and we have hyperparameters. That body of work is called machine learning. And then AI is a little bit of a different approach to it, using neural network. So there are three categories in the advanced, which is 10% of our overall pie of the problem. There is what's statistical modeling, there's machine learning, and there's AI. But majority of the problems can still be solved using standard business analytics methods. Does that help?
Nice.
I separated the two out for you: sources of data and what you do with the data.
Nice, awesome, valuable. Okay, can you share your live tools that you use for marketing analytics?
The tools, so we are tool agnostic. We go into our clients and we use whatever tools they have. Now, in terms of a marketer, they usually have a tool for their CRM, right? So they, and most of our clients on the data science consulting side are startups. So they're using Braze or other CRM tools to basically interact with their customers, either through the app, in-app notifications, or sending out an email, traditional emails, using chats, using text on phone, all of that. So whatever tool they are using to actually interact with the customer, we are able to use that. And then the what's relevant for is, how do we get the data? What happened when you interacted with them back into a single view of the customer? And typically that data feeds into a data lake of sorts. And there are three primary tools in that space, primary cloud tools in that space. Everybody knows them: GCP, AWS, and Azure. Most of our clients are dumping data in one of these three sources. And then the ability to query that lake or enterprise data warehouse, EDW, and basically get the data out for you to analyze. The analysis happens in Excel, Google Sheet, or you can use it Python. You can use Python depending on how complex you're getting. For example, we use, for one of our clients, which is a app client, we use a lot of scripting in Python to automate the dashboards, like brand tracker, and that's a big one. Brand tracker dashboard, LCM dashboards. How is your life cycle marketing like? How is your customer progressing to the journey of habituation, of acquisition, habituation, and then retention? So different tools and different cycle of stuff, but essentially we are tool agnostic. We'll use whatever our clients have, and then the processing can happen in either more advanced like a Python or an R or other scripting tool, or mostly a lot of analysis happens in Excel, and then it gets the dashboards and all get created in a visual GUI based tool like Tableau or QuickSight or Looker, whatever tools they are using. So for us, it doesn't matter, essentially.
People in North Korea don't have any tools, but they love it, like this stuff. Okay, let's talk about creating the right strategy. For example, you can collect data. And the reason why I'm asking about that, I often see when companies create generic strategy. They don't learn a lot about customers. They rely on tools or online studies, but each case is different. Customers are different. We have our unique selling proposition, strong sides. Can you tell how to predict ROI by using data, collecting this data, and create the right strategy?
And predict ROAS, you mean? ROAS? What do you
Return on investment.
ROI. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking ROAS, which is return on ad
Got
spend,
it.
very relevant for marketing
Mhm.
folks as well. So absolutely right on, Anatoly. People have to start with strategy first, and and you have various tools out there in terms of figuring out your marketing strategy. A lot of our startup clients use lean startup approaches, the Canvas, business model Canvas, whatever your tool of choice is. But start with strategy. Who are your customers? What are their pain points? How is your product fitting in from into their pain point? And all of that good work. You need to have that part figured out. Most of the clients, when we start working with them, they already have a validated business model. They have a million paying customer, maybe 130 million, 30 to 100 million. I'm talking about B2C, non-paying customers, which is often freemium model prospects, or people are using the free site or free services. So they have data. The question is, and most of the time they can spend time just analyzing the data away. There's no end to analyzing data. The question is, to your point, what is the key metric that I'm optimizing? For marketing, the key metric is ROI. I am going to, should I send all my marketing team back home and not show up for a year? Or if I'm investing and I'm having these marketing team be in office, be invested in actually marketing my product, what is the return I should expect? What is the return? How do I optimize my return? And in marketing terms, not only your resources are investment, but all the tools you're using, the dollar you spend even reaching out to your customers, the marketing campaigns, the brand spend you're doing, the ad spend you're doing, the banner spend that you're doing, all of that is spend. This is I of the ROI, right? That means you need to understand, where do I spend more versus less to actually optimize R. So in order to do that, there are different phases of how your customer progresses through your organization. The first one is acquisition. You need to understand cost of acquisition and where you can get the most highest value clients with least amount of cost, right? It's called CAC or COA or whatever you call it. You need to keep your laser eye focused and be very diligent on understanding, hey, actually for us, LinkedIn ad does not work. But what works is these TikTok videos or whatever, right? Like you need to figure out what is it that works to get your clients in. But then not all clients are the same, right? It's not about those who sign up, but some sign up and they cancel in, let's say you have a subscription business. Some sign up and they cancel in 3 months. Some sign up and they stay for 3 years. Some sign up and they not only are subscription business, but they also buy a la carte. That means you need to understand the LTV, lifetime value, whether it's 2 years or 1 year, whatever. Lifetime, and that means you need to predict for your customer set. You need to be able to predict per customer what is the value that this person is supposed to produce. And then go back to your net present value, go back to your current and say, if I want to optimize my LTV, where are my biggest source of good clients? So for example, and you can do that trade-off. If the LTV for people who are coming from Google Ads is, let's say, $200, but you're actually spending $100 to acquire them, that means it's still 100%, 2x ROI, That's great, right? But there is another source, like you have your some banner from a partner referral site, and the LTV for that client is $500, but those banners are expensive and actually cost you $500 per customer to do that ad. That's 100% ROI, right? So you need to now balance. If you had $100,000 budget, how will you allocate your budget to get the maximum ROI? Right? So it's just not on the R, it's the R and I that you need to balance. And a good tool for I is not just your current, the current investment, but just for that campaign, but actually future, understanding the value of R and then understanding the value of I, future R and current I, and then optimize that gear and say, I'll spend more here versus there because I can get better value or higher value customers from these places.
Love it, love it. Yeah, you remind me Bill Gates when he shared his successful methods. For example, someone asked about investing, and he told, for example, if I invest X amount to project A and X amount to project B, if I get 2 times more with project B, why I need to invest one more time to project A, even if I get some profit? Because it's better to invest all money to project B, So yeah, you mentioned something like this, that it's better to analyze because we have limited resources. We can't cover everything. Yeah, it's better to choose priorities and go ahead with that.
And I want to add something in there. As your customer matures, there is something called media saturation. So you might come to it that putting more money in that media will not give you any better ROI. So you will, that's why marketers need to diversify. It's not like you'll put, because your Google ads is giving you 2x return, at some point it's maxed out. And you have to understand once it maxes out, you need to keep diversified, your portfolio diversified. So never put all your eggs in one basket, especially for marketing. Diversified portfolio. There's also in marketing, because the way your customer consumes your content is relative to the others. As the competition changes, let's say competition starts going for the keyword that you've been scoring very well, you might start having worse ROI on those keywords. You need to be agile and say, oh, all right, it's not getting me, week to week, month to month, it's not getting me the return that it was giving me, let's say even last month. Shift gears, put your investment for next month somewhere else. So that agility is needed, especially in this world where things are moving very fast. Interest rate goes up overnight, stock markets are crashing, things are changing all the time. You need to be agile, and data is your best friend. If you keep an eye on data, you don't need to know more, just actually think like, oh, what is my friend on the other side doing? What's my intuition telling me? Use the data. You have all of it. On a weekly basis, keep a eye out on not only your KPI, which is ROI, but your early indicators, your total visitors, and then entire funnel. And as soon as your visitor from a particular source starts going down, the back end will start getting impacted. So use the data to react quickly and be proactive in shifting gears versus spending another 100K last week on a media which is already saturated.
Yeah, nice, great insights. Can you tell about, for example, when I'm talking about data with my customers, they usually tell about analysis of their competitors. For example, they use many well-known tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs to check out what type of marketing campaigns they set up on Google Ads or Facebook Ads, to analyze which pages provide results and do the same, but we have different unique selling proposition. Customers are different. We have our strong sides, and you mentioned about return on investment for some time, for example, time value. And it's not the time, for example, when you invest $1 and you can get $2 back. Sometimes you can get even $1 because of time value. You can sell more times to customers. This customer can bring new customers to the board if you have high quality products. can you tell about unique selling proposition? How to analyze your strong sides compared to competitors? Because it's not about the price, it's not about the quality. Possible you have better customer service or something like this. Tell more about uniting data with unique selling proposition.
That's a great question. And to your point, we need to be constantly aware of what our competition is doing. How are their funnels performing? Where are they investing money? For example, I'll just give you one example. Are your customers putting their price on their website, or are they not? Are they forcing the customer to actually contact them and the price is hidden behind the contact, behind a demo versus not? So being aware of your ecosystem. For example, right now a lot of our clients are actually B2B in fintech and commerce and technology. And the current trend which is going on in the market is taking pricing off. So 5 years ago, the trend started where people were talking about transparent pricing, pay as you know before you sign up, pay as you go, no contracts, and sort of that was what the trend was. Now the trend is reversing. People are taking price off their website and actually forcing the customer to get in touch, schedule a demo, especially for B2B. So it's very important to be aware of what the competition is and what they are doing, what unique things they are doing, and why they are doing it, so that you are aware and then you can choose to do this versus not. So for example, if you look at airlines, I would say in all of the airlines that I see, especially in US, I only know mostly about US airlines. Southwest, the business model is very different than all the other airlines, right? All the other airlines will do demand pricing and surge pricing. Depending on how many people are searching, they will increase the price, decrease the price. Southwest, through these many, many years, have stuck to their, same price over and over, whether it's Wednesday or Sunday. Roughly, that is what their strategy, or that is what their marketing is. We don't change our price, and you can cancel with ease or whatever else, and you can use it for other flight. Their value proposition is very, very different, and they're sticking to it, right? Even though the market went different, like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, it went the direction of, hey, we are going to show you a base price and then add 1, 2, 3 things. By the time you come to the total price, you'll be like, wow, this is 2x of what you were advertising, right? And Southwest is like, no, we don't do that, and we do things a certain way. So I'm sure they're well aware of what the competition is doing, but they're choosing to do, because the Southwest brand value is, we are for the people and we are a commuter service, and so there is a certain adherence to their brand value that they do, and people and thus build loyalty. So the people who are Southwest clients, they don't move. They have very high loyalty and retention because they stand true. The market can go one way, they still stand true to their brand. So this is one example of why while you need to be aware of what's happening externally, you still need to stand true to your own unique brand positioning. What are you to your clients? Are you fast way to fast delivery of cheap food to your house? Is that your value proposition? Or your value proposition is healthy, locally sourced ingredients served to you? What is your unique value proposition? And the decision that you make on a day-to-day basis needs to align with that, while being aware of the market, because you don't want to miss a trend. And if there is a way to catch a trend while staying true to your own value prop, you should. The other way you can use data to understand what is most valued is your customers are always telling you with their behavior. What is this? For example, in app terminology, it's called FUI, first user experience. How do your customers like experiencing your product when they come in and the first time they sign up? Where do they click around on your app? Or what do they end up doing most of the time? That tells you, hey, now 60%, if you use even Google Analytics, it'll tell you the path that people are following, from different pages or different UX landing pages. Look at that and understand this is what my customer wants. Actually, they all go here and there, and they ultimately end up on this page because this is what is most important. One of our clients is a safety driving app, and if you look at their data, they have started to understand, certain features, even though they have, let's say, 20 very important features, but there are only 2 or 3 very high value actions called HVAC. There are very few high value actions, which is basically if the customer does this, they are likely to stay, right? If they add their home address in their first location, then they are planning on using this app. Some of these are obvious, but some of this you have to let the data show you what is happening, what are the first things that they are doing, which makes them high value later on, and so on. So use the data. You have all of your customers' behavior coming into you. Understand, going from the perspective of asking relevant questions, analyzing it, and and then making decisions based on that, and reduce friction. If what they're going down to is this 7 page down, they end up in this thing. Move it up, make it 3rd page down or 2nd page. Make a direct link from your page itself, from your home page itself to that, because it's very important for them, right?
Yeah, valuable. Love it. Okay, let me share an example. For example, when I have a new customer who needs SEO services, I tell them, you need to understand SEO. Because if you don't understand, it's hard to get results. It's the same like, I don't know, to learn foreign language or to lose weight, build muscles. Anyway, you need to understand what are you doing and why you are doing this. And in SEO, if we need to get results, we need to create high quality content, provide link building campaigns, and for the reason of getting ranking positions and traffic. I found that you provide data science consulting. For example, let's imagine your customer I don't know, knows about AI only from Matrix and Terminator, a few other movies, and know nothing about that. Can you tell how to explain them about importance of data science, about finding the right data in short period of time? For example, if they're busy to create high quality products, to compete in market, but you need to explain them in short period of time about importance and how to go ahead together, to get great results.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think in this today's age and world, money speaks louder than anything else. And when you show, in some ways, there's similar kind of business which was able to make more money, their ROI is 4 times more because they use data. I think those are very good sort of stories which are precise. Think about very precise problems that you may have solved or others have solved to get that specific ROI. Like, let's say, hey, we were able to, like Airing does the same thing. We were able to actually improve for the same safety app organization. When we went in, their trial, the customer will come in and they're all free. And then some percentage of them trial a premium product for which they pay money. And so trial is a top of the funnel for them to start making money off that client. And so their trial rate was, let's say, 1.4% when we came in. And just through a series of experiments, working very closely with the growth hacker, we were and putting in our solid and expertise on experimentation and our understanding of business, we were able to make that trial rate from 1.4 to 2.8 or close to 2.7%. That's nearly 2x. That's a good proof point. I mean, which freemium model will not want to double up their trial rate? Because what happens is you basically increase the top of the funnel by 2x. Who doesn't want it? And then hopefully some of that still stays, that even if you don't get 2x revenue, but you get some percentage, x folds of revenue, right? Who wouldn't want that? So using data to tell very precise stories of use cases to your customers and saying this is what we have done and this is how we have done it, I think will help help the people on the other side saying, oh wow, if that's possible. And for us, when we actually we do a lot of work in the business analytics area, but we also do very heavy duty AI models. And when we can articulate the value of those AI models, and it took us 4 months to build, but we were able to reduce fraud by, 0.1% bips. These are big organizations, let's say 0.1 bips, which actually was equal to, $100 million of saving every year. Who do
Yeah.
right? So it's basically connecting what you did with the results. And we make sure we get results because we use a framework called Badir, which is very focused on figuring out what the question is first and making sure it's high value question. Because you can do analysis of data till the cows come home, right? Like you can just do every day tens of analysts. If you have a team of 10 analysts in your internal organization, they can just keep analyzing data and they may still not get much value out of it because data is a Pacific Ocean. You can keep swimming in there. So what we do is use Badir framework as a way of narrowing our focus onto high value problems, right? If these are the 20 questions you can ask right now, what is the highest value out of that, right? And we use a framework called, and people can look it up if they're interested. It's an analytics agenda framework. We call it 3 key questions. It's there in my book, Behind Every Good Decision, as well as it's there on our website and stuff. If people are interested, they can download. We use an approach of taking the KPI for that organization. Every organization may have different KPIs. And then the driver KPIs are 100% different. We take the KPI and we find the driver KPIs often to L1 to L10 level, 10 levels down. What are your driver KPIs? And from there, we figure out where are your biggest drivers. And then we line up all the projects they have listed to those drivers. And that's where we find, hey, your biggest problem is your return on ad spend. Your ad spends are the worst here, right? And that's what we need to optimize versus we really need to segment your customer. There are so many use cases, even within marketing analytics. At any given point, we can ask 20 questions. Which one of them is most important? So we use this approach to focus our energy onto only high value problems and thereby make sure that we get good results. And that is then we can use that to convince our clients and also our prospects saying, we got these results, we can get the same for you.
Yeah, interesting. You wrote a book that became as Amazon's #1 bestseller in data science. Yeah, it's called Behind Every Good Decision. Can you give a strong reason for my audience to read this book? What kind of benefits can we get? Yeah, we can see this book. Someone who is listening in audio podcast, you can find this link to this book in the description below. Give a strong reason for busy people to read this book, what kind of benefits they can get, and why it can help them to go ahead better, smarter, get high results.
So listen, the new world, the data is the currency. And your ability to read that data, whether you are sitting in as a call center agent, or you're sitting in as a marketer, or you're sitting in as a CMO, or you are a CEO, or you're an engineer who's making things happen, or you are a product manager, whoever you are, you need data. And so you have data, you need the ability to deal with data or understand it and use it in your favor. So everybody these days, we used to have communication skill is the most important. Your ability to communicate in an email is most important. All those, in addition to that, now data literacy is a key skill for everybody. It's not like, only the analyst needs, only the data scientist need to know what to do with data. We all are surrounded with data, and it behooves us to actually get skilled in it. And not everybody needs to become data scientist. You can, as a marketer, you need a citizen analyst skill. As a CMO, you need the executive data literacy skills, right? But you need the right skills at your level. And this book, Behind Every Good Decision, for the folks who are on the video, I'm showing it, but for those who are not, it's called Behind Every Good Decision. It's an Amazon bestseller. This is written for you. Pick it up and understand starting with the ABCs of analytics. What is what? So you are conversant in it. And then in chapter 4, it walks you through the entire Badr process. So you can be Badrist. You can actually understand how to focus your work that you're doing. A lot of our internal employees actually tell me, my airing employees actually tell me that, hey, Piyanka, you know what? I'm starting to use Badr even in my personal life. The first step of Badr is business question. And one of the analysts was, data scientist was saying, hey, when my wife tells me we need to do this, I ask her now qualifying questions, which is the business question. Because I'm doing so much at work, now I start asking questions. And we align a lot more quickly than me going down one path. And then she comes and backs and says, what are you doing? This is not what we agreed on, right? Now he says, I spend a lot of time. And because he says, he lives in for example, a joint family, and his wife is going one direction, his parents are going another direction, and he wants to go in a different direction. He says, I use the Badr framework to align all of us in a common understanding before we take action on big things, right? Like which car to buy, right? We all have the whole family has, which is the next car to buy, have different perspective. If you can use a mechanism like this to align, you will save angst down the line or misalignment down the line. So it's a very useful tool for you to pick up, hopefully for your professional, but maybe also for your personal life. So pick it up, and it's a very easy read. I think it's 2-3 hours on a flight or not, but it's a very easy read, accessible to everybody. You don't need to be a data scientist to read this book.
Love it. Yeah, I think it's very important when it's easy to read, because simplicity is key, and I know some boring books that can help with sleep. When you have the problem with sleeping, you can take some books and you will sleep all night without any problem. So for me, it's very important. Okay, I have the question about the line between searching and analyzing data and doing something, because I remember when Jeff Bezos shared on his meeting when he got data research about a new product, and he told guys, okay, I understand, we have this data, we have this information, but nobody knows what kind of results we'll get. We need to do something, not only to analyze. Can you tell how to find this line between analyzing and doing? Because for example, we can spend so much time to research data, and after that nobody knows without acting, without doing, what actually works. Can you tell about your experience, how to find this line?
Yeah, and that's a great segue into one of the most important skills any marketer needs, besides understanding business analytics and using it to their advantage, is experimentation skills. They need to understand how to experiment. So to your point, yes, I found insights and I said, this source gives me 1x return on my ad spend. This source gives me 4x return. So I'm going to put more money on the 4x one, take some money out of the 1x one, and I'm going to balance my budget. And but this is still theoretical, because we don't know about media saturation. We don't know about many things. So do experimentation, but set it up right. Many times when you think about experimentation, people just think, oh, I'll divide up my group into half and half, and boom, I'll get results. You don't do experiment that way, because you will get inconclusive results. So do proper experimentation design. Again, that's something, we have a framework for that called BEDIR, where the A from the analysis plan becomes experimentation plan. In experimentation, spend a lot of time planning your experiment, which is figuring out what are the kind of treatments you have that you want to do, what makes sense, what are your segments, what's the full factorial, what is the interaction happening, how many minimum size you need, what kind of design parameters you are going to use, what is the minimum, as a result, what is the size you need, how long, what is the size of number of people you need in each test cells, how long you have to run it, and when you stop, what is the expected confidence, how are you designing, what kind of confidence level you're designing it for, what are your chances of still misreading the test. All of that you need to do first, and then launch the test, and then read it when you're supposed to read it, and then see, your analytics told you A is going to win, this is the best, but when your results come in, you're like, oh, wait a minute, it didn't show us that way. It's actually, instead of 4x, it's actually 2x only. All right, now given our true experimentation, what do we need to change before we do a full rollout for your entire customer? And that's also very true. I mean, especially with reference to Jeff Bezos and Amazon, they're great experimenter. They're constantly experimenting, and they are changing. Like, for example, recently, I'm a big Amazon user. I love convenience, but recently they have made changes to where when you return, even when something is defective, you still need to actually do drop off. Now, for me, the biggest value prop is pickup, right? Somebody comes and picks it up, and without a fee, because you guys messed up, you actually delivered something, it was broken, right? So it's your problem. I shouldn't have to go actually spend time to drop off. And I know myself, if there is anything requires drop off, it will be at least 30 days delayed. Like it just sits there until the pile is very big, and then I'm like, okay, I have these things that I need to return. By that time, the return window is gone, whatever else. It's inconvenient for me. So but maybe I am a small minority in Amazon's base. Amazon is constantly experimenting. It's seeing, as a result of them changing this, what happens, right? Or I hope they are. I don't know in this specific case they are or not, but I hope they are. And they will look at, as a result of them changing this policy, what is the change in money people are spending? Because for me, I almost dislike going into stores. For example, I need to pick up some tools. I don't want to go to Home Depot because I have to go in and then search, and I feel like and then I don't have my customer reviews. So I just have to visually make a decision, or I have to then in store, I have to Google and figure out what this, reviews are. It's too much work for me. I'm a very classic online shopper. I look at something, I look at the reviews, I read the reviews, and I buy, right? Nice. But because you've taken out this, if something comes broken or is defective, you're not going to pick it up for free. Now you've created a friction point for me. Because of that, you'll probably see, I'm now actually, I took a trip down to Home Depot because I wanted to pick up something, which I wouldn't otherwise. So my particular case, my revenue spend market share for Amazon is going to start dropping. Actually, even canceled Prime for next year because it's been on auto renew. I've been a Prime member since the day they launched, right? But now I just cancel it to not auto renew because it's something I don't think like I will continue to use it the way I've been using it, because you're taking out a convenience out from me. And so I don't have any reason now. I might as well get something which I can see is not defective and won't be random. So these are the choices we make, or I'll go to another online site where they have free returns or something. I'm probably going to shift out. I don't know what it is, but they'll probably see it. And either I'm a blip in the ocean and people like me don't matter in their revenue, or we do matter and we are a significant majority and their revenue will show an impact. And then hopefully on the other side, there are experimenters and analysts who are reading the results and saying, we made this change and we saw the impact in revenue. We need to do something about this change. Maybe we need to segment it. For very high value customer, which I would be for them, we still keep that, right? And for the lower value customers, because it costs us money to get the product picked up again, we don't put, so your spend per customer should also be a function of LTV value, right? If the customer is higher valued, you need to give them better service or a different service. So these are the things which hopefully somebody at Amazon, knowing Amazon, probably is looking at. And these are the kind of decisions that you want to be willing to make. So plan as you like, learn from it. But when you come to doing it, be very clear on what you're trying to learn from this change, right? And keep an eye on your metrics. What has changed as a result of it?
Nice. Love it. Piyanka, it's a big pleasure to get on my show, to learn from you. Tell our audience how they can reach out to you, learn more about you, follow you.
I'm on LinkedIn. So if people want to follow me, look up Piyanka Jain. I'm also on Twitter. My handle is Analytics Queen. And that's pretty much where, and then you can go on to, if you are interested in our services, or you think we might be able to help you, especially if you're a startup and you have a validated business model and you have a lot of data. we can definitely help you with your structuring your data needs both strategically as well as execution on the data engineering, on analytics and data science. So reach out to us on our website. There's a contact us form, and there's also a chat. So there are all these various ways. Those are not managed by me, but eventually, if it's relevant where we can add value, you will, we'll find time with you, and I'll be in the meetings.
Okay, guys, you can find all these links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. A big pleasure. You share a lot of valuable insights. I'm going to read your book because I have a huge list of books that I need to read. So it's hard only to find time, but I will. And guys, I recommend 100%. You can see a lot of valuable insights. Okay, guys, love you. See you.
Bye.